this. Okay, guys, today's training basically is the importance of reading, right? Importance of reading. So I've got a really good presentation that I want to go through with you guys. But first of all, I want you to put your cameras on. We're all brave. And also I want you to get a notebook and pen ready. So do you all have sound? You should all have sound, right? Everyone's good. So Louise is putting her thumbs up. So everyone has sound. Okay, so you have a notebook and pen ready because this training is more about a spiritual training, in my opinion, and the importance of knowledge, okay? So I definitely want you guys to all have that. But before we get started, can you all put in the chat something that you are grateful for? Something that you're grateful for. We're going to start this training with something that you are grateful for. So I am so happy and grateful for, and finish the sentence, guys. Let's wake up with some grateful vibes, right? Wake up with some grateful vibes. So I am so happy and grateful for. So everyone put in the chat what you are so happy and grateful for, okay? I am so happy and grateful to be alive. I'm so happy and grateful for my supportive family. I'm so happy and grateful to wake up. Anyone else? Like, what are you grateful for, guys? Put it out there in the universe. Make sure you show everyone what you're grateful for, and I will get started on this training. So as soon as everyone puts it in, then I'll start. I'm so happy and grateful for my health. Happy and grateful to be in my right mind. Yes, I like that one. I like that one a lot. I'm so happy and grateful to wake up and be with my family. Exactly, guys. I mean, I was reading the news today and the death rates in the world is insane, right? It's insane. Like, I read an article where someone literally just passed away in the middle of the street, right? Passed away in the middle of the street. And you think, wow, this life is really not guaranteed, especially where we're living in this situation. Like, if you guys don't know, we are definitely in a World War III situation, okay? We are definitely in a World War III situation. And this is kind of why I did this training, because I want to like bring everyone back down. So I hope you got your notebooks and pens ready. I like this training. Out of all the trainings that I've done, I actually think this is one of my favorites. Like, this is the one that gave me the most peace, right? When I was doing it, and obviously Louise is a part of it, which is super exciting. So I'm excited for that. But when I was doing the preparation for this training, I genuinely was like more at peace, right? So I was thinking, okay, this is what we need right now. So obviously heading title, guys, is the essential books to read and the importance of reading, okay? Essential books to read and the importance of reading. Now, we all pretty much know, right? We all know what we need to do, but I really want to stress on why. So why do we need to read? Okay, so I'm going to just introduce this. Okay, this my only part is to introduce. I'm going to give you the introduction. Why do we need to read? Okay, guys, when we get into a car, what can happen to our car when we are driving and make it get off track? Okay, so the question is, guys, I'm going to ask you, what risks happen when we get into the car to not let us hit that destination? Everyone say one thing in the chat to everyone. What can pull us off track? When we get into that car, what can make us not reach our journey? So anyone put in the chat, what can happen? Road closure, that's true. Mindset, no. I'm talking about when you're in the car. Physically, what happens to the car? Yeah, accident. So you're physically in the car, what can happen to you? You can have an accident, you can have a road closure. What else can happen to you? Run out of gas, exactly. You can pass out. So everything can happen when you're in the car, right? So you want to go to, I don't know, you want to go on top of a mountain and you are at home, you get into the car, you put your seatbelt on and you get ready to go. These are the things that can happen to your car, right? Bad engine, flat tire, silly drivers. Yeah, by silly drivers, you probably mean an accident, you run out of gas, distractions. Exactly, guys. This can happen, right? Well, I don't know what that has happened, right? Okay, that can happen. Now, let's go back. Number one thing that can happen to us in the car, we can run out of fuel. Everyone write down, we can run out of fuel. And I know you know this, but we need to write this down, okay? We need to understand that if we get into a car, we can run out of fuel. What happens if we never stop at the petrol pump, right? What happens? We drive to the last drop. We eventually stop and the car stops moving, yeah? I remind you, all of you on this call, as human beings, you need to constantly refuel, okay? You need to constantly refuel because you are that car, okay? Constant source of refueling is key. You will run out. It's the same with knowledge, guys. If we don't constantly fill our brains every single day with knowledge, whatever it is, we will burn out. So that's the first reason why we need to read, right? That's the first reason why we need to learn every day. That's the first reason we can't waste time, right? Everyone agree? Run out of fuel is one of the main reasons people, well, not main, but one of the main reasons someone stops their journey. Yeah? Who has felt like they have run out of fuel in the past? Put 111 if you felt that you ran out of fuel. Like you just mentally felt like, you know what, my car is not moving, right? My car is not moving, right? You've been in that place where you have run out of fuel. I'm telling you guys, it's because you have not refueled, okay? Everyone gets into that state of mind where they just feel like they can't go on, right? They don't know what it is, but they feel like there's something blocking them. There's something that stopped their car. That's knowledge, okay? And this is what this training's for. Number 2, you can have a crash, right? Something can collide with you, or you hit something and the car is ruined and you fail to reach your destination. Yep, everyone can agree. Everyone said that a crash can happen. Now, I want to go back to a story that we learned when we were children, and it was the 3 Little Pigs. Who heard about this story? 111 in the chat. 3 Little Pigs. We're really going back to childhood days, guys. Yeah, 3 Little Pigs. Yeah. Now, I'm going to take you back, right? Throwback of the 3 Little Pigs. 3 Little Pigs had to build a house, right? 3 Little Pigs had to build a house. First one was lazy and took shortcuts. Second one was not as lazy, but did not work as hard, right, on the house. Third one did not skip any steps, but time and effort into his house with bricks. Okay, 3 Little Pigs. Now, who remembers the next part? The big bad wolf came, right? Big bad wolf. Now, guys, in life, we have a lot of bad wolves that come in many different forms, okay? They come in many different forms. They come as bad relationships. They come as global disasters like we're in right now. They come in every shape, way, or form. Things will pop out of nowhere, just like that car crash, right? When we get into that car, we did not think we'll get into a car crash, right? We didn't intentionally go and think that we'll get into the car crash. But I want you to remember this story about the big bad wolf, right? When he came and he blew the first house down, he huffed and he puffed and he blew the second house down. But guys, did the third house get ruined? Did the one who put the time and effort into his house, did that come down? No, it didn't, right? And that is because of bricks and water, right? So bricks and mortar kept the house safe. And that's because he put time and effort into this. Now, what this training is about is building a strong foundation just like the third house, right? We must build our house strong. We cannot control the weather. We cannot control the virus. We cannot control the economy. But one thing that we can control is our sanctuary, right? We can control our mindset. We can control how and what and why we are doing this in the first place. Because every step, every day, you're building your house, right? In your mind, you are building your house. So we need to feed our minds every single day and learn the information during this time. So if that crash ever happened, by the way, guys, we're in one, right? If that crash ever happened again, or right now, what's going on right now, our focus never changes, okay? Our foundation is strong. We control our refuge. We as a community need a stronger foundation, right? Stronger knowledge. Did you guys know that the taller a tree gets, the deeper the roots are? Yeah. So if a tree just started, right, just start forming, but then it's like just there, and then you have a big one. The taller the tree is, the stronger and the wider the roots go. We have to remember, guys, that we just have to stand the test of time. Okay, we just have to build that house day by day. We cannot be a weak house. So if something goes wrong and it doesn't go our way, that we give up, that our house just falls apart. We can't get to that state. We have to make sure, guys, that our knowledge is our main focus, right? So how do we make solid roots? How do we be the third little pig? What we can do individually and as a family is 2 things, right? We can build the relationship with the knowledge, and we must love learning more than the rewards of learning. So I'm going to say that again, guys. We must love learning more than the rewards of learning. Okay, the reason why is because if we start to think too much about the rewards of learning, we can lose focus if we don't get them straight away. But if we love learning, right, if we love reading, if we love understanding what's going on, if we love learning a new skill, a new language, making new friends, whatever the situation is, if we love the process more than what we get, we will be that strong foundation. Okay, now I want to just quickly, before I introduce Louise into this, I want to quickly just make it sure that we understand that we're all on the same page. Imagine we are all in a room. Okay, everyone, we're in a room. Now I want you guys to picture that we're in a big room with all of the best teachers around. So people know, put in the room, put in the chat, put in the chat, people you want in this room. Anyone, dead or alive, put anyone. Everyone write down who you want in your room. Best teacher that you can ever have. Anyone. Who do you want in this room? Not obviously anyone in this team, but anyone you want in the room. Right? Jesus? Yeah. Who else? Who else? Who else wants someone in this room? Bob Proctor? Yeah. Exactly. Manny? Kathleen? Okay. Anyone else, guys? Who do you want in your room? Right? Who do you want? Mandela? Okay. Anthony Robbins? Right? Anyone else? Guys, list anyone. Tupac? Doreen. That can happen any day. Okay, guys, now I want you to focus on one thing, okay? Imagine we are all in a room with these people. Now everyone shut your eyes. Shut your eyes. Everyone shut your eyes. Okay, you're in a room, right? With the people in front of you that you just listed out. And Z, shut your eyes. Yeah, I can see you, idiot. We are in a room, yeah, with the people you've just listed out. You've got Bob Proctor, you've got everyone that you want, Mandela. Now, they're not speaking to you. They are pointing to what you need to do. But you guys have got your eyes shut, right? You guys have got your eyes shut. So you got blindfold on. Can you see, now with your head move, can you see what they're pointing to with the blindfold on? Yes or no? Yes or no? Now you can open your eyes. Okay? The message is, guys, that we can be in that room with all the best teachers in the world. But if we all had our blindfolds on, can we see what's happening? No, right? We cannot. We don't know what they're saying because they're not talking. They're showing us the keys to success, but our blindfolds are on, so we can't even see what they're doing, right? We can't even see what they're doing. We must all take off our blindfold, okay? This is your responsibility. We need to understand, even with the best in front of us, if we have our blindfold on, we will not get what we need to be, okay? Now, Louise is going to discuss how to start taking this blindfold off, right? She's going to discuss how we can start taking this blindfold off. But, guys, this is all down to the work you do. It is only down to you how successful you will be, right? It's only down to you how successful you will be because we've all got that blindfold on. So when she does give you these books to read, it's your responsibility to read them, right? When she does go through her training, we're not here to give you chapter by chapter, verse by verse. There's no shortcut, guys. You can be the first little pig, the second little pig, or the third little pig, right? I'm going to tell you, be the third one, right? Because I've mentored, I've told you, hundreds of people, and I've seen all types of little pigs, right? I've seen the first, second, and third. The third ones are doing really well. The first ones don't last, okay? They don't last. So it's down to you. Now, before we start that training, guys, what I want you to also do is understand that we do have training session today. Obviously that we are going to plug into Luke's training session at 2 p.m. We also have one at 7 p.m. UK time. I need you guys to understand that this is important ways of taking off the blindfold, just showing up to the trainings. Yeah, just showing up to the trainings. That's it. And if you miss it, watch the recording that day. Now, also, as you believe, helping others just as much as you help yourself is important, right? So everyone get your camera out and put this on Instagram. A fact that you have learned, and tag whoever you want, right? Put on Instagram something that you've just learned in the first half of this training, right? Show that you are learning, you're building your strong foundation, right? You are building your strong foundation because I'm telling you, the fact that we can share information and a tip for someone to learn during this kind of crisis is crucial. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to Louise. Does that make sense so far, guys? Does everything make sense so far? Put 111 if you're excited to hear what Louise has to say. 111, guys. We need some energy. Energy is power, right? Come on, guys. 111 in the chat, making sure you're live. I want every single person to be active in this chat, or I'm going to kick you off. Right? I'm going to kick you off because I can see the names. Yeah, I can have like one person on the call. I don't give a fuck. Right? I can have that. If I don't see your name, I'm going to kick you off right now, right? So I see, good handful, right? But I don't see everyone. Okay, guys, you have 10 seconds before I kick you off this training. Oh my gosh, are you going to be that loser that gets kicked off, right? Are you going to be that loser, right? Are you really going to be that loser? There is 19 people on this call, right? And I have not seen Udaya's name. I've not seen iPhone. I don't know who you are. Guys, come on. Okay, I'm going to share it back over to Louise. I'm going to unmute you. And if you guys are ready, get your notebooks and pens, essential books, right? And we have a task. We're going to read one this week. One, okay? It's not easy. Something happened to the tone. Okay, one, okay? So, thank you so much for listening to why. Now we're going to listen to how, okay? So Louise, I'm going to find you, unmute you. Take it over, my queen. Let's go.
Hi. Thank you for that. So I actually put a presentation together for this just because
yeah, you did, because you're duplicating me.
Best way to do it, exactly. And sometimes it can be too much information, so I thought if anyone wants it afterwards they could just have it. If I share my screen,
so just at the bottom where it says next to manage participants, you can share the screen.
Yeah, why can't I see that one? Hang on.
Okay, so if you see the chat box.
Yeah. Oh, got it.
Yeah, cool. Amazing. That's insane. You're on fire. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Okay, so some of you may or may not know I do read a lot of books. I'm big into personal development. I've been reading personal development books since I was probably about 15, thanks to my dad. I've got a blog where I do suggest some, and this selection isn't necessarily my top 5, but I thought maybe it would be better to have 5 books that are in certain different kind of aspects of personal development. So I've put those 5 together for you in this presentation. So everyone should have read or will know of Think and Grow Rich. I've just taken some of the kind of aspects of the book just to explain that to you. So one of the main features of the book is the power of desire. Everything starts with a desire. You desire to have more money, better health, or a better social life, but your desire has to be a burning desire. And this is kind of duplicated and repeated everywhere in anyone that is focused on personal development. I think there was a YouTube video that was shared. I can't remember exactly what his name was, and he was taken out into the water, and it was basically, until you want to have success as much as you want to be able to breathe, then that is when you will start to see results. With that, there's the power of faith. For a desire to come true, you must have faith that it is possible and it will come to you. It basically all kind of circles around the same thing, that as long as you have the faith, you can have whatever you desire. Yeah, well, I don't know whether it's helpful for me to actually read these or whether what does people think? Do you think it's actually helpful to read them, or is it okay for you just to have a look? And then I've included some of the quotes at the bottom.
Yeah, of course. I mean, which one is your favorite out of all of them? So whether desire, faith, knowledge, imagination, which one do you think is the most powerful to you?
Imagination for me. That's why I've included this quote at the bottom. So you can go to the workshop in your mind and you can create anything you want to create. The power of imagination is the key to creating the life you want. And then I've included the quote there by Albert Einstein that imagination is more important than knowledge, because knowledge is limited. So you only have the amount of knowledge that you have already obtained throughout your life, whereas an imagination is something that encircles the world. And something Bob Proctor actually said recently was the power, like everything is already here. Internet was already here, aeroplanes were already here. It's just the imagination that allows you to unleash what could be a reality.
Guys, if you are just so grateful that Louise has dropped that, put 111 in the chat, because she's got loads of slides for you guys, and that in itself is probably the most important lesson that we have just learned, right? So you're killing it. I appreciate this so much. So yeah, next one, let's go. I'm taking my notes.
It feels so weird.
You got this. You got this. You got this.
So yeah, my personal favorite is going to be Think and Grow Rich, and if you haven't read that, then that's definitely the first place to start. I think most personal development books have a kind of underlying link to Think and Grow Rich, and it's still relevant today, and it's something that a lot of people teach and push forward. So I think, yeah, definitely. Another quote which I did actually include here, which I do think is quite important, is the hardest times often lead to the greatest moments in your life. So it's a bit like the whole diamond under pressure. It's just a lump of coal until you push it under that pressure, and then if you look at the results of that, that's when you start to see the diamond. And I do think that that is something that is very important in terms of what you want to achieve, how you will obtain success, and what is required of you to be able to make that. Yeah, so the other few books are kind of based around different elements. So the first one was massively on personal development, mindset and desire. And then the second one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Has anyone read that book?
I live by it. I actually did the 10 grand course on this.
Oh, amazing.
At 18 years old, I paid for that. Yeah. Education is key, guys.
Yeah, so I think that's really important, especially where people are focusing on like the marketing side of this company. Even just a few tiny little things like calling someone by their name, it leaves a good impression. Like, see people as who they are, not just another person that you happen to interact with. In terms of like admitting your mistakes and things, that's something that I've seen personally in my industry. It's so easy for someone to do something wrong and then everyone to go, oh, but it was their fault. And that's a really bad way to be a team member, because it doesn't matter who made the problem, what the mistake was, you're all in it together. So just find the solution and fix it. Point and blame doesn't change what's happened. You've got to just move forward. So The Monk Who Sold the Ferrari, another really, really good book. This actually kind of goes back to the last training where we were talking about morning routine. A lot of it kind of focused on that, the power of early rising. Most of us sleep far more than we need to. Always remember that the quality of sleep is more important than the quantity. Goes back into the people that we were looking into, Branson, Gandhi, everyone from the last training. To train your body, you're also training your mind, and it is important that every single day you should nourish your body through some form of exercise, whether it was I think Beethoven went for a walk, or yoga. It doesn't have to be like a 20-mile run, but it's just something to get your blood moving and just to get your endorphins going. Again, as Tyreen just said, and I'm quite passionate about reading, read regularly. Even reading for 30 minutes a day will do wonders for you. Don't just read anything. You've got to be selective. So reading through Facebook posts aren't necessarily what we mean by that. Something that nourishes your mind, because as we say, your thoughts become things. So if you're reading the news, you're reading doom and gloom, you're seeing that everyone's dogs are going missing, like that's the kind of thing that can taint your mind, and it doesn't allow you to grow and nourish your body. And then, yeah, I found that quote that reading is essential for those who seek to rise above ordinary. And I'm a true believer in that. Yeah, that was just something else that I took from the book. Sometimes that's not always possible for everyone, and I appreciate that, but I think it's more to do with taking pleasure in the simple things, opposed to feeling like you have to prove yourself or be something you're not, or have the Rolex because you think your friends will care that you've got a Rolex on your wrist. So yeah, I just included that as well. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I actually haven't read this recently. I read this quite a long time ago. Another brilliant book, can't say a bad word about it. One of the quotes that it has there, the single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If it is trained well, it can create enormous wealth. So invest in your mind. So you'll see that all of the books are kind of linking back to the power of reading, the power of knowledge, the power of training your mind, and the impact on your health if you are using exercise to also allow your mind to open. Yeah, failure is another thing that a lot of the books discuss, that don't be afraid of failing, because people who fail also avoid success. Says, yeah, so it kind of, Rich Dad, Poor Dad kind of goes on to say that the rich don't work for money, poor people work for money, while the rich people have the money work from them. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think chasing money is really dangerous and really unhealthy, and you can become obsessed with it. And that's why I think, as the trainings have suggested, empowering other people and giving back to people is such a nicer way to see that the money will just come. If you're a giver, you'll receive. It's give and take. It's the entire universe. Everything is an action and a reaction. So you give to the universe and it will give back to you. And the last book I picked was The Richest Man in Babylon. This is kind of more about the monetary side of things. It suggests that saving at least 10% of your income is advised, controlling your expenditures, living within your means, and avoid unnecessary lifestyle. A quote by Warren Buffett is, if you buy things you don't need, you will soon have to sell the things you need. And invest. You must invest and make your money multiply. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. That was a quote by Benjamin Franklin. So then the last part, I've taken one quote from each of the books and I've included this here. So from Think and Grow Rich, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits. What was my second book? Influence People, isn't it? Yeah. So then from To Win Friends and Influence People, it isn't what you have, who you are, where you are, or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It is what you think about. So yeah, Scott, I know that's not always easy, and I know that people get frustrated, and people have, like, in their environments can sometimes make them react and make them stressed. And something that actually I think it was about a month, maybe 3 weeks ago now, I was having a day where everything was annoying me, everyone was annoying me, because we are human, we are chemically hormoned, and everything was just driving me crazy. And the best advice I got was actually from Tyreen. She said, just go be in nature, just for 10 minutes, get away from the environment, take yourself away. And that's something that I actually always used to do that I completely forgot about. If you're angry, if you're having an argument with someone, if you're just really, really annoyed and you're not sure why, sometimes you go in this vicious cycle of anger and then upset, anger and upset. And unless you take yourself away from the situation, you don't give your time to assess what's going on, calm down, and then come back, because otherwise you just end up hitting heads the whole time and there's no solution. And it's so unhealthy and it's awful. But yeah, 100%, if you're in those situations where you're completely clashing with someone, or you're not happy, or you're just kind of had enough, take yourself away. If you can, be in nature, appreciate the simple things, go to the trees, go to the flowers, whatever you have around you, go to a local park and just sit and breathe for 5 minutes. And it does absolute wonders. 100% does absolute wonders. So everything is created twice. You see this a lot in what Bob Proctor teaches as well. First in the mind and then in reality. One of the references he used was the Wright brothers and how they were just bicycle engineers. And if it wasn't for the Wright brothers, we wouldn't have airplanes. So yes, everything is already here. It's a thought and then it becomes a thing. And you have to think it for it to be a reality, because you have to focus. The fear of being different prevents most people from seeking new ways to solve their problems. I think that's mainly about having an open mind and not worrying about asking for help if you're not sure about something. You have to appreciate that you don't know everything. You will never know everything. And being wise is great, to be able to tell people information, but also to absorb information. And I think that's really, really important, that even the top professors of their industries, they never stop learning. There is always someone that knows something that they don't know, or even a way they haven't thought about it. A prime example for me, so with dinosaurs, sounds really strange, but give me a minute. With dinosaurs, our entire lives, we've been brought up watching Jurassic Park and believing that they are reptiles, that they have scales, that they were this, that they were that. And only very recently, within the last few years, have we discovered that actually they have a relationship to birds, and it is very likely that dinosaurs were feathered. That would have seemed ridiculous 10, 20 years ago when Jurassic Park came out and all of these paleontologists were telling us all these facts. And it's only because of recent discoveries that actually, no, they were feathered and they were more like an emu or an ostrich, and that's something that, you know, knowledge keeps evolving and changing. So the last quote, our acts can be no wiser than our thoughts. So if you don't think it, if you don't focus on it, if you don't have your destination, much like the car reference that Tyreen was talking about a moment ago, if you get in the car and you know you've got to go to point B because this is the destination, you might hit a road closure, you might run out of petrol, you might have an incident where you've got a flat tire, or you see something that makes you stop. But the point is, if you get in the car and you know where your destination is, it doesn't matter how many times you have to stop, reroute, or do whatever you have to, you'll get to the destination because you know that that is where you were going. And that is why I finally wrote my goal card.
Yes, at last. I have yet to see anyone else's.
It's only taken me 3 weeks. And I look at it every day, and it's so weird because I've written this a few days ago, and one of my goals is to be a British female producer in the film industry. And since then, a friend that I went to university with has sent me his script that he is working on, that he wants to direct. And he has asked me if I want to produce it.
See, it worked.
Weird.
And today you're on your first training. Like, hello, what? It's just random, just coming out of nowhere.
It's been an amazing journey so far, and I've only been here for 3 weeks. And if you've got any questions about books, recommendations, like different areas in terms of books, I've got on my blog even like the best books for sleep, the best books, actually the top 5 books that were suggested by Warren Buffett, And at some point when I have more time, I'll put another thing up on there, and I'm happy to share it if you guys were interested in seeing the blog. So yeah,
that was
thank you.
insane. Thank you so much, Louise. You can stop sharing and we can get back to it. Guys, before we finish this session, how amazing was that call? Like right now, how grateful are you that you have a complete stranger? Louise is a complete stranger to you, right? Like, you don't know her. Some of you aren't even the same country as her, but she has just given you a rundown of 5 important books after learning about the importance of refueling. So Louise, thank you so much. I think this was one of my best trainings, and I think it's because of you. So thank you for the best training in 3 weeks, right? So, I mean, that was the training. I hope you guys did enjoy that.